Good morning, ladies and gents. We are live.
What is up, everybody? Great to have everybody here, too, by the way. This is going to be a fun Sunday morning. I want to take a couple moments here. Of course, we have some great people here, right? We've got the great Crap Gamer with us today. And we've got the great Nova.
What's going on?
But, Crap, let me say this much. I want to take a moment here, and I want to thank Nova for being just awesome dude in the community. He's very helpful. He doesn't just help us on the show here, Crap, but he also helps on other things that we do on our channels. And shout out to Cool Hand Cruz as well, who did an outstanding job on his first performance, if you will, okay, on Crossfire on Friday. And he also helps us with things behind the scenes. So shout out to these great individuals. And there's so many others that help in the community as well, that help MNC and do everything that we do here, including this phenomenal chat. Guys, please do hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the retweet button, let people know we're live. Crap, it's Sunday morning. Yeah. I've got about 4 coffees in me. I'm great. I feel good. I feel real good. Feel good.
It's a good time, man. We got stuff to talk about. It's a Sunday morning, about to pass in the afternoon for some people, but it's always a good time to get out there and talk about this. So everybody, share this out. Share it on social media, like it, subscribe if you haven't already done so. We really appreciate you guys coming out and supporting the channel and stuff like that. I know it's not the ideal time for most people, you know what I mean? Like to come out and do a morning show on Sundays, but it's kind of our vision. And oh, look, you've just added a browser source.
It wasn't me, I swear to God.
Nice. Yeah. So no, but it is good to see that. And let's see. Like gaming is game. I think it's going to be an interesting year. Like it's already proven to be so in the first couple of months of 2021. But it's like we're in this pandemic, and games are no sure thing, to be honest with you. Like as far as if they're going to come out or not, and I think that a lot of us are going to rely on probably backlogs and stuff like that. Even like the multiplats and stuff aren't really coming. It's like we count down the next big one. It's like, oh well, it's Resident Evil 8, and then you know what I mean. It's like I remember the last time we were this hard up for games, which was when I think when we had the Xbox One when that had come out, and we were all hyping stuff like Strider. Remember?
Absolutely.
Like Strider was a big deal. Everybody was like, we had to get Strider, right? And it was like this little side-scrolling indie game or whatever.
What
like
was
kind
that
of a
game
reboot
that came out? Max and the Curse of the
Brotherhood.
That was another one. Remember, everyone's like, "This looks great."
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Yeah, it was like you draw the little things or whatever. Yeah, I mean, what can you do? There was no backwards compatibility. It's like Well,
I had a conversation with somebody the other day, and they said, Mooch, I'll be honest with you. They said, I'm not that upset I couldn't get my hands on a Series X or a PlayStation 5 because there's no games out anyways for the console. And I sat there and I said to myself, have you ever been a part of a console launch before? It's never that you're going to have a plethora. It's not like what console came out in your history, Crap, that had like 20 new games? None. Zero.
Yeah, probably none. Yeah.
I mean, the fact that you actually have games that are coming out, which is great. I love seeing our logos just flying around the screen right now. No, that's fantastic. He's like our Scott the engineer. It's fantastic.
He is.
He really
it's crazy, but it's looking good
everywhere. I like that. I like me everywhere. That's great.
It's called.
But I got to be honest with you.
It's called producing on the fly. You know what I'm saying?
That's talent, my friend. That is talent. Shout out to the great Sir X Man in the chat. He says, hit that like and share, everyone. Good morning. Good morning to you, Sir X Man. Played some great golf with him yesterday. And Cool Hand Cruz, he says, appreciate the love, guys. I'm excited for things to come. Well, you should be, Cruz. You and Nova have a great future on YouTube.
Yeah. But,
Crap, I listen, when it comes down to it, I'm not necessarily disappointed with what we got out of Sony's camp for a new console release. You've got Morales, right? You've got Demon Souls. You've got the Pathless launched in the window.
Sackboy and
Sackboy came out.
Astrobot or whatever. Yeah,
that came packed into it. And now here you are. You've got Returnal seemingly about, what is it? That's coming the end of April, I believe now.
Yeah.
There's things that are coming down the pipeline. I think Deathloop is sometime in June. There's just things that are coming.
Which they really sold me on that. I got really sold on that, and that at the State of Play. I just thought they did such a good job with that, and I think that it just really goes to show like sometimes something can kind of go under the radar for you. Like I knew about it, but I wasn't like and they really had the time to kind of showcase it and sell me on it. So I thought that was really cool and looks good. I mean, I'm definitely interested in it, and like it just makes each release that much more anticipated, I think,
Right.
and that much more important
Well,
that they actually get those out there. So
Crap, you got to look at. Shout out to Jason AP. He says Sackboy and the Pathless. Are we just naming anything? Jason, let's go. Could we please go back to 2013? Not sure if you were really a part of it back then, but the PlayStation launched with Shadowfall, Knack, and Resogun. I mean, now you have Demon Souls, Miles Morales, the Pathless, and Sackboy. Could you tell me if we're at least on par or better than we were in 2013? Xbox in 2013 had Rise. They
Dead
had
Rising 3.
Forza
Motorsport 5.
Yeah, Forza Motorsport. I said Forza Rise. Forza Motorsport 5, right? And
Killer Instinct.
And Killer Instinct. And they had this time around. They didn't have anything really. But that's not my point.
About Titanfall. They had Titanfall, I think, in March.
Well, Titanfall was in the window.
Launch,
it was in the window. But I'm just trying to say to Jason, we've got to stop and I'm all about living in the now. I really am. But we've got to stop and say, are we stretching by saying the Pathless or Sackboy? I don't think we're stretching. I mean, you had people on IGN and different networks saying that Resogun was the best game to launch of last generation. Like, what I'm saying to you is I think Demon Souls alone destroys everything that we had even last generation at launch. I mean, I guess you could go ahead and say Rise. A lot of people like Rise now. Rise is beloved more now than it was when it came out. You know what I mean? It's almost like that nostalgia factor like Baked did. But that's what I'm saying here. So, Jay, it's not to say...
I mean, listen, Sackboy's like an 80... It's like an 80 Metacritic, you know. It's not like it's a terrible game. Like, I like it. It's a really good platformer. So, you know, an Astrobot, that's a packed-in game. You know, it's like that's better than what that Microsoft's giving you packed in or whatever. So it's just one of those things. It's just, and they also gave out Destruction All Stars, and we're gonna be getting.
Now Jay's really gonna hate me in the chat, right? They even gave away Bug Snacks. Now listen, I'm not saying it's for you. I'm
Bug
just saying
Snacks.
Bug Snacks. Listen, these are games that came out, and they're there whether you want to play them or not. That's up to you. But and shout out to Ice Cream Gaming. She says, Mooch, I kept out of the console war. And I just played games on my PlayStation. Well, Ice Cream Gaming, I recommend you continue to do that. But, I wouldn't use the words console war is not necessarily always a bad thing. It's a discussion piece. Shout out to Viewmaster617. He said, good morning, Mooch, Crap, and Nova. Good morning, Viewmaster.
Good morning.
Thank you for that.
Yes.
Guys, the super chat's working. It's a miracle.
It's working great.
It is. It's working great, Crap. Crap, the reason I bring this up as our first topic is because we did have State of Play. And I think everybody thought State of Play was just going to be another E3, but it's not E3. It's State of Play. It's an update, right? So I didn't think it was that bad. I didn't think it was great. I gave it a 6.
I thought it was,
you said it was about a 5, 6 out of 10, right?
Yeah, it was like a 5 or 6 out of 10. I don't think that it was anything spectacular, but I thought that they did enough to say, hey, we're here. How you guys doing? We haven't forgotten about you. Here's some stuff that's coming in the next couple of months.
Right.
Sorry that, we're in the middle of a pandemic. We're doing what we can. It was just one of those things where I felt like they were trying their best to, try to get things out there for everybody to kind of enjoy. You know what I mean? So I do think that they did a good job with that. There were 4 things basically that I liked that was interesting. It was I really liked the Returnal gameplay that they showed.
I did too.
I thought that was good. I thought that Kenna looked really great. I really enjoyed Deathloop, seeing the gameplay, extended gameplay there. And then the Final Fantasy update with added content, I thought was really a good thing. So 4 of the things, it wasn't like I loved everything they did. Right. The other stuff was very largely forgettable. Like, okay, Crash Bandicoot coming, cool. Yeah. I specifically held off on getting Crash 4. Because I knew they would probably come out with next gen versions. Right. And boy, I tell you what, man, that Activision, they love charging for upgrades though. Sure
they do.
Like with that Tony Hawk Pro Skater, even on Xbox, I think it's like a $10 upgrade fee. Like, damn. Yeah. it's crazy.
There's 2 games I have a very hard time with, and this is a me problem. I know the audience is not going to agree with me. That's fine. But I have a really hard time with the skateboarding games and the driving games. I mean, there's just so much of the same thing you do. It seems like when you're doing the Tony Hawk stuff, it's like jump and then you button smash. And you hope to God it comes down with a well done trick, dude. Like, I don't know. I don't know. What am I missing? I'm missing something. Everyone seems to love it. Or was it just a nostalgia factor?
Well, I think the nostalgia factor, especially for something like Tony Hawk, right? Like I thought that was a little bit, I really liked that. I just thought that it was. I remember it being a little bit easier or something like that. Now there's a mode where you can put it to where you can't fall down or whatever. And I thought that, that was pretty cool. Like if you just want to go around skateboarding, like you can do that. You have the option to do that. So, I thought they did a fantastic job with that. And it is very nostalgic. And they are very good games. Like, especially party games if you got people over and you kind of remember that kind of stuff. So yeah, I thought that was really cool. When it comes to like driving games, I really like the Forza games or whatever. I think they kind of get it best. I wasn't really into much driving games before Forza because most of them handle terribly. Mm-hmm. And so, Forza games to me really handled extremely well. And so I was really, I like them a lot. Now, since that time, I've really kind of come around to be able to play some other types of, racing games and stuff like that, and I've enjoyed them. But for the most part, it's mostly thanks to Forza. But yeah, I'm with you. Like, I would rather play like real games other than that kind of stuff. So yeah, it is kind of, that's how I feel about it. So I understand what you're saying in that aspect as well.
Yeah, shout out to a few guys in the chat here. Capone says, Mooch, really? So you didn't like Forza? Listen, I'm being fair here, Capone, and you can ask crap. I've been saying this since day one. It doesn't matter if we're talking about GT or we're talking about Forza. I just never got into the racing thing. Like, listen, you play 16 hours, 20 hours, and it's like, okay, you've upgraded your engine and you've got a new front axle. Congratulations. You know what I mean? It's terrible. It's like instead of getting your reward at your job at the end of the year, you get a Jelly of the Month Club certificate. Like, I don't care. I just don't care. Look at that, Mooch. You got new like hubcaps. What? But play for 30 hours. What are we doing here? I don't understand.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I don't know.
No, I mean, you gave them a try. I mean, you got the Forzas and
I do.
You played them and stuff like that. So I think that really kind of, it's not like you didn't give them a chance or whatever. It's just not your thing. And I can agree. Like sometimes, like I like racing games, but sitting there hour after hours, it's just like, I can understand why, you get some people though, like Xbot, he loves doing deliveries on those games, right? Like he loves just build like making cars look like a certain way or whatever, and he'll spend hours doing it. I know people that'll spend hours tuning stuff up. For me, I like the Horizon games, but again. Those they did kind of start to ruin that with the fourth one, in my opinion, just due to the fact that they kept on coming out with them, and I felt like 4 really just felt like kind of a tacked on situation of the other ones. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So yeah, it wasn't exactly something that I thought they kind of ruined that one a bit.
You got to get rid of the festival crap.
Yeah, I thought that they didn't really have as much festival in that one. You know what I mean? It was like. It just felt like almost DLC or whatever. I don't know. It didn't feel like and then it was like littered with like online components. Like they made it games as a service, which I don't know. Like I don't know that to me didn't jive with me as well. Because it's already kind of an online game or whatever. Right. So I just would have liked to see something a little bit different from them, I guess.
Shout out to Racer. He goes, Mooch didn't play 30 hours for AutoZone prices. Pardon me. Outstanding. But, like I said, one of the other things I took away from State of Play crap, just to hop back on that, was I was going to grab the Pathless, and I decided not to, especially when I looked a little bit further into what that Solar, and I understand these are not your bag, but Solar Ash, which looks to be probably another timed exclusive for PlayStation 5 at least.
Yeah.
And it's basically the Pathless with a lot more going on. And I like the lighting, I like the world that's there. I like the entire environment that they're placing you into. So I will check out Solar Ash. I thought Sifu looked pretty good. I like that martial arts. I like bringing back that. It looked like that old school Tekken style fighting, but in a single player game versus a brawler, if you will. So I like that as well. I thought that was interesting. Deathloop has always been on my radar. It just became more and more enticing. Returnal and Deathloop really did that for me. I originally thought that those games were going to be okay. And now they've stepped up to, I'm very intrigued. Shout out to Mr. Tennis, who asked a question here. Crap, I want to hear your take on this. He's concerned about the $70 price tag on Returnal.
It could go either way.
You think that's a problem?
I think it could be a problem. I think that the main thing that could be the problem here is the fact that you have this game that is untested, right? Like people
Right.
don't know it. It's a new IP, which is risky in and of itself. And then you have a situation where, they're really kind of reliant on it doing well, in it's sort of a weird way. And there is a spotlight on it, at least. I guess that could be a good thing where there's not a lot else coming out. So it could be, but it's like, man, $70 does seem like a little bit. Like I would feel probably more comfortable if it were 60. But they believe in it. I mean, if this thing gets a really great score, I think it could help things out. But I have a feeling that it's probably going to be one of those things where it doesn't do like extremely well. Like I could see that.
But is it the $70 that's going to hurt it, crap, or is it the game itself?
I think it is probably just the unknown factor, and then the fact that the price could be a little bit of a hindrance to it as well.
I agree.
We'll have to see. I'm interested in picking it up. I thought the stories looked really interesting, and it's something different.
It's going to have the timing thing on its side, is it not, crap? What else is coming out end of April, early? Now, May's stacked. I will say that one. May's stacked. Are people going to be clamoring for a game? Maybe they should have released that game maybe April 15th. So because you've got May 8th or something, May 7th. May 7th is Resident Evil 8, crap, and that's going to sell like hotcakes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I could definitely see that being the case. For me personally, I think that they did a good job with kind of advertising it there. And again, they have many more subscribers and stuff like that on the PlayStation YouTube channel. So a lot more people were able to sort of see what the game is about and see some of the gameplay. And it looks good. And we'll have to see what happens. Housemarque has usually this is their first foray into something big. Yeah. Usually they just do like the smaller stuff. They did Resogun and what is that, Ex Machina or whatever that is?
Ex Machina, yeah.
Whatever that is.
I think it is time. Well, the thing is, though, where normally I would be a bit skeptical, a lot of these other companies, like who developer for Days Gone, for example, we had this conversation, Ben, right? Before they had Days Gone, they hadn't done anything majorly massive in that.
Like 20-some years,
Right, which is completely a different staff, by the way, at that point. That's why a lot of people say that. They're like, well, we got Ninja Theory. Ninja Theory did this. That was 20 years ago. It's a different group.
Yeah, or especially like Rare. Like, remember Rare did Banjo-Kazooie and Perfect Dark?
Not this Rare.
25, 30 years ago,
Not there's anything wrong with this Rare. It's just it's not the same Rare you're comparing them to. Shout out to Glinster in the Super Chat. He says, it's dry for new games. But has everyone played everything? Do backlogs no longer exist? I just played Kingdoms of Amalur. Not a new game, but hashtag fun. I agree with you there, Glinter. Shout out to Saltiest Gaming. Salt, good to see you here in the chat. Appreciate it. He's in an earlier.
You know what the funny thing is? I like that game on 360. I got the Reckoning or whatever, and I haven't really had a chance to play it. But that is something that I might dive into. Because it is sort of like if you like the old Fable games, like Fable 2 and Fable, that I think those are kind of similar in what they do there. So that was those are pretty cool games or whatever.
Shout out to WoolleyGamer crap. I think I want to. I got a segment on this I've been thinking about. WoolleyGamer says, "Sup, my dudes." He says, "I still haven't figured out Returnal." Let me say this much, Wooly. So somebody mentioned it on Crossfire. I saw somebody mention it on another podcast I was watching. But I'm so glad I saw people saying it because I'm like, okay, I'm not crazy here. So Returnal, to me, in the gunplay, not the story, not the protagonist, in the gunplay and the mechanics that I'm seeing on screen, really are doing the things that I thought ReCore were going to do, crap.
Oh, you just compared it to ReCore.
Well, now hold on. I did. But but it's similar, right? But ReCore kind of fell flat. I think this game's got a lot.
ReCore fell flat because it had like 2.5 minute load times, and
the environment was completely
made you go find the cores to progress, and you know what I mean. Like, I don't know, it was just like kind of a mess.
It
had a decent story. It just like holy crap.
Listen, ReCore,
to really
I said this
progress
back in the day, crap. ReCore could have been something special. They completely.
You mean if they would have thrown more than 99 cents at the developer?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
We paid more for our 3 years of Game Pass, actually. Yeah, I don't know what was going on with that budget.
I have no idea. They had a kick-ass collector's edition as well.
Yes, they did.
So I thought that was kind of funny. That
they had a great protagonist. They had the mechanics I thought were going to be all right. I thought Returnal says Salty. I listen, guys, don't take it the wrong way. Let me explain because I have to say everything a couple of times.
Explain yourself,
I'll
Mooch.
explain myself again. It's not ReCore. I'm saying the fighting mechanics, when you're seeing her kind of like shift, right? And that slide movement left and right and still having the streaming effect that your weapon has on the enemy and the different type of enemy types. I see that as something that's very similar, and I like that style of gameplay. It's almost like today's version of like Contra, right? It's that spray effect, and I really, really dig that. I think it's awesome. And when you look at games like what they've done in the past with Next, Machina, and things like Resogun, that's the type of spray effect. Of course, doing it on a 3D platform this time really can escalate this company forward. I think they can bring their talent. They're bringing their talents to the big show. So I don't know. I think that's something crap. And I know that I make that reference. Sir X-Man says Kingdom of Amalur Reckoning Remasters looks incredible. I have it. And the play style is so much smoother. I just need some time to play the game. Well, that's the thing. It's not that backlogs don't count anymore. It's not that they don't count. They do. But I mean, as gamers, we sit there and we say we want to play old games, but then you'll play the game for what? An hour, 2 hours, maybe even 4 hours. And then you're like, anything new coming out? Something new? Like, I don't want to play this old game anymore. You know, and I don't mean that in the retrospective of you're trying to go back and play a Ghost of Tsushima. That's not what I mean. What I mean by an old game is like the original Kingdom of Amalur, or like I'm trying to think of something else. Like, I got to go back and play Dead Rising 3 crap because you know what? I missed that game. You're not going back and playing Dead Rising 3.
Yeah,
you're not. And if you are, you're not.
Well, the thing is, a lot of those games,
right.
You know, they don't hold up. Like, I remember people love to throw up the scores that I gave old games back in the day, right? Like, I think I gave Rise a pretty decent score. I might have given it an 8 or something like that. But it was like, for me at that time, as a launch game, I thought it was impressive graphically, and I liked the story and stuff like that. It had its shortcomings, obviously, like, you know, it's a short game and kind of repetitive, and they could have really used some varied things in there and weapons. But, you know, overall, I really enjoyed it at that particular time. But if I were to go back and that game were to come out how it is right now, it'd probably get like a 5. Right. You know what I mean? Like that from me, because it doesn't hold up. Like, games that at launch can be a little bit worse because you're launching something new, right? And I'm not giving anybody any excuse for that. That's just my opinion. Like, usually launch games are nowhere near as strong as the games at the end of a generation, right? It's supposed to continue to get better as a generation. Look at like Killzone and Knack and stuff versus The Last of Us 2 and Ghost of Tsushima. Okay, that's the difference I'm talking about. Like, you continue to get stronger as it comes out, and I think that's probably the big difference that I'm talking about. When it comes to like first party and stuff like that. So yeah, that's how I look at it. But I did see some other people kind of mention that it looks like ReCore and like the back and forth kind of firing, but it looks like it might do what ReCore really kind of failed to do, in my opinion.
They're doing what ReCore didn't do. Exactly. And you know, someone in the chat here, I want to see who it was. I agree with Antonio Benabi. He says, bro, upgrade your TV and phone. Returnal looked AAA. Someone here said that they thought Returnal looked, oh, here it is. Iron Man says Returnal looks like a AA game. I would not say that.
Yeah, I don't. Well, I mean, listen, like, we could get it. I get into this argument all the time with people.
I know
what's AA, what's AAA, but it's like it is. But listen, we can go by what the devs say. I guess they put out a press release a few years ago saying they're going to do their first AAA game, and Returnal is that AAA game. So, you know, as far as I can tell. Right. You know, we'll have to see like what happens. Like, I don't know. Like, it could be great. It could be shit. We'll have to wait and see, I guess.
Yep. Shout out to Sir X-Man. He says, Mooch, you know me. I'm not afraid to play old games. That is true, Sir X-Man. MXJ88, he's agreeing with you, crap. He says, as the tools come in, the games get better. And that's true.
As the tools come in.
Yeah.
As the tools turn.
As the tools turn. I like that crap.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because on Twitter earlier I made a poll. I was like, which one have you had more fun waiting for as an Xbox fan? The tools, waiting for tools, waiting for E3, or waiting for exclusives? You know, I mean, I could have put waiting for a DX12 because that was a thing back in the day, you know, but, you know, just for a little, just as jokes, Booch. It's just jokes. Crap. It is, you know, it's just jokes. So yeah, listen, I think Returnal looks good. I don't think it's going to light the world on fire in terms of sales, but I hope that it does well for that studio and things like that. Because it looked. Listen, here's the thing that always kind of annoys me sometimes. Like and like much the way how when we were big Xbox fans, it used to annoy me where Xbox fans wouldn't actually buy the games on Xbox. It's like, sometimes that happens with PlayStation as well. Like, and also what happens is people go, all PlayStation does is those third-person, over-the-shoulder, open-world games. Same thing, walking simulators. This looks completely different than any of that stuff, and people will probably sleep on it. You know what I mean? Like, oh, it sucks. I don't know.
No, I agree. Shout out to Capone in the chat. He says, Mooch has been waiting for that C1, but not the heels. You might want to get the CX because it's a better deal since there were not much difference. I just wrote you in the chat too, Capone. Actually, I was just telling Crap before the show. I picked up on sale. I did pick up an LG OLED CX. I did pick up the CX. And let me tell you something. Capone's right. I did my homework. I spoke to a lot of people in the know. And the difference between the C1 and the CX is not going to be that much of a major difference at all, first of all. And second of all, you're talking about a major, major price difference here. Upwards of $800, $900 just to say you got the one from 2021, 2022. So I did pick up a CX. It's going to give me all that. I'm actually installing. I was just telling Crap. I'll send some pictures out on Twitter of the game room. The game room should be done, the office game room and podcasting center. I'm working on it all day tomorrow. So we'll see how it turns out. If I'm done tomorrow, I'll send some pictures out. If not, I will send them out Tuesday or Wednesday. But nonetheless, I want to say Capone is right. That is true. If you're waiting right now, my recommendation would be for your wallet is to buy a CX. The C1 is not going to be that much of a difference. And the problem with that is you're going to be paying a lot more money just to say you got the latest version when you're not really getting that quality in the money you're putting out. So yeah, I do recommend that. And Crap, you've said that your CX, you're enjoying it thoroughly.
Yeah. Oh man, it's tremendous. It really is. The thing is like because the VRR and stuff is always built in there. Even 60 frame games feel like they're doing a little bit better than that for some reason. You know what I mean? Like it just to me anyway.
I gotta say,
like everything feels so much smoother.
Shout out to all of us for having CXs in here and everyone in the chat.
Yeah,
we all got
the
CXs
MNC
now.
family.
Yeah, CX gang.
So, real quick, Leadmaster 537 says, "Is this real? Is MNC back from the dead?" Well, Leadmaster, we've been doing. Believe it or not, we've been back for a while. But we missed the last 2-3 weeks, just due to like all sorts of different things. I mean, we've had holidays, and then we had another event came up, and it was just the schedules weren't working out. But we are on track right now for every Sunday to be back. So appreciate Leadmaster's super chat there. I do appreciate it. So X-Man says, we are playing golf today, right, Mooch? Absolutely, buddy. Later this afternoon, after I get done with a little bit of the this and the that I got to get ready for the office redo tomorrow. I don't know if you guys are hearing it. Crap. I think I've picked up your bat ears. I'm hearing some staticky white noise in my headset. Is that coming from me, you, or Nova?
I don't hear anything.
I don't hear anything either. I'll mute myself.
You guys don't hear any staticky white noise?
Nope.
No.
It's gone now. So whoever did something, it's gone. I want to thank whoever did it. Even if I
don't hear it.
I don't know. Well, it's gone. So thank you. Anyway, I don't know what to say. It was here and now it's gone.
Yeah,
that's good. It's a good thing. It's a great thing. Let's talk about this, guys. I don't know about you, but I am. I wouldn't use the words super excited, but I'm pretty damn excited about Outriders. And did either of you get a chance to play the demo yet?
I haven't downloaded it or anything. I mean, lately it's like I don't have any. I don't. Like people say that it sounds good and it would probably be my bag. Like if my boy still gamed, you know what I mean? Like no. Like as far as I can tell, man, ever since the Xbox really shit in the bed the last few years has caused all my gaming friends to kind of move on to other things. They're not. Right. A lot of them aren't even gaming anymore. So it's just like. I don't know. It's very difficult. And I just I don't know. At my age, I want to go around, hey, let's buddy up and, you know what I mean? Like, look for people that I don't really know that well or, I don't know. But, yeah, it does look like an interesting game. Apparently, you can play it solo.
There's a reason I think you're going to like it, though, Crap. A, you can play it solo. B, it's got a linearity to it, if you will, that I know that you really like. It's not like this massive world where you've just got to get lost in it and there's a million side quests. The side quests are pretty straightforward. You can link up with friends if you want to, but it is very easily accessible to play solo. I played on the Xbox Series X and I played on the PlayStation 5. So I downloaded it in both places. I have not yet played it on PC, but I made a Pyromancer protagonist and I've made a Trickster protagonist. I like the Trickster a lot better. a lot more fun. I just feel like that up close and personal kind of experience, the fighting mechanic is much more enthralling in this type of game. But you really do have to have a team with you that really kind of coordinates your close fighting and your distance fighter, because otherwise, if you don't do that, you're going to find that it's going to be lopsided, right? It's like a teeter-totter that's lopsided crap. So
yeah.
But I think you're going to like it. I really, really do. I truly recommend you give it a shot, and I'll run through it with you because I want to try another class.
What did you download it on, PlayStation or
I have
Xbox?
it on PlayStation and Xbox. I will say this much, and I know some of you guys in the chat, are going to go, come on, Mooch, not again. But I got to say, so I've played them both through, and I did prefer I like the DualSense, man. I just like the controller.
Yeah.
I thought it felt a little bit better. I thought some of the colors on the HDR looked a little bit more washed out on the Series X. I thought on the PlayStation they looked a little bit richer. That's a me problem. I'm not saying that's supposed to impact your decision. Played very well on both consoles. But I probably would, and it's cross-play. So if you buy it on Xbox and your friend has it on PlayStation or PC, you can all still play together. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter where you bought it. So I'm just saying to you, I'm leaning towards PlayStation because of the controller. It just felt better. But I don't know if that would impact, anything that,
Well, I saw that it had better performance on PlayStation as well. So I mean, so that's not bad. You know what I mean?
No,
I think that's pretty damn good.
I think I would pick it up. A lot of people have been asking me, is this going to be a day one? And as of right now, I'm going to say yes. And the reason is because where I thought Returnal's date is going to hurt it, because it's releasing a week before Resident Evil and a bunch of other games. May is stacked. So with May being stacked, the end of April is dangerous. But April 1st is when I believe Outriders comes out. And
on April Fool's Day, man.
April Fool's Day of all days, crap. And I got to be honest with you guys. That's perfect timing, right? To be able to play that game for 30 days with no interference of any really other new titles that are that are on my radar anyway. I can't wait. I think it's something you can get invested in. Nova, have you tried the demo?
I have not yet. So I have downloaded on my PS5. I think I'm going to run a game with Cruz after the podcast, actually. So.
Okay, listen. If I got some time, me and Crap. Well, I can't speak for Crap, but I'll join you guys if you want to do a run through. Yeah. I want to start a new class. I'll join you and Cruz. But
yeah, let's do it.
Well, shout out to WoolleyGamer. He says, when are you guys going to buy Valhelm and join my server? Also, Crap, I'm looking for gaming buddies to play Outriders, but hit me up. Yeah, Crap's not going to play on PC first, Wooly. You're never going to get that to happen. Never. Like, literally. I mean, I always say never speak in absolutes. But the day that Crap tells me, hey, Mooch, you won't believe this, I'm really enjoying this PC game, that's the day I go buy my own coffin. I'm going to go buy my own coffin.
You'll never, and it's no offense. Like, if people really enjoy that shit, that's fine, man. But I've got 2 incredible areas set up where I can just kick back and play my games on big screen TVs and not have to worry about any of that stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
this is my size. This will be fine.
Yeah, it's just how I am. You know what I mean? Like, I never, like, when I was younger, my brother tried to get me into like PC gaming and stuff like that. It just, it's not fun for me.
Well, I got to agree. Listen, let me
sitting there and
Crap. I'm going to back you up here, okay? Because there's a reason for it, and there's times, I will say this much: I only play Warzone because it's a play anywhere. You can play cross-play. I do play Warzone on my PC, and that's because I'm not going to lie to you, Crap. The 140 frames, okay, at 1440p is glorious on the computer. I will say that much. And I'm playing for what, 2-3 hours. I play like maybe 2-3 times a week. It's not too bad. But now I got to agree with you. Take a game like Outriders. Take a game where I'm going to put 30 hours in, maybe 20 hours a week. Maybe you're playing 10 hours a week, and it's going to be consistent with buddies and hanging out. You're going to have a cold brew, or you're going to have an adult beverage of choice. I'm just not going to sit at this desk and play. I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah.
I want to have a couch. I want to have a coffee table. In your case, I know you're a big fan of recliners. You want to relax. You want to game.
I do,
relax,
man.
right? I can't blame you. You'll never hear me
to be honest with you, to sit at the desk and play and do a podcast for 2 hours, man, that's bad enough. Like, and I'm all constantly adjusting, and you know what I mean. Like, it's not comfortable for me. So,
and who came up with the design for these? I have a gaming chair, a PC, the one you see all the streamers have. I have one of these.
Yeah, I have a gaming chair too, but it's still
the most uncomfortable chair ever created by a human being, and they charge a fortune.
And I get it, because people are gonna go, well, can't you hook it up? Well, my case is pretty bulky. Like, I don't like, and then what? You hook it up, and then you have to get up, turn it on, use a mouse to, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's just.
I think listen, here's my take on it. Crap. People say it all the time. Well, you can just, if you hook up your PC, depending on how powerful your PC, to your let's say you don't have a CX. Let's just say you have a 4K TV that's doing 60 hertz output, right? I mean, why are you spending the $1,500, the $2,000, the $3,000 on your PC when you're going to hook it up through an HDMI? You're not going to get the true potential out of your PC. So that doesn't really make any sense to me. If you're just going to hook up your PC to your TV, just buy a console, guys.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? Lucifer's here in the chat with a great, I love it. He sticks to the 666. God bless him. He says, with Sony games going to PC, will Crap Gamer go to PC? We have a spot on PCMR. We have cookies. COD on PC is way better. 165 hertz is the way to go. Wow, he went up to 165. I'm happy with 140, but I don't think you're going to see Crap Gamer.
Listen, I can play Call of Duty right now at 120 hertz, and I'm more than golden. Yeah, and I don't have to worry about cheaters or anything like that. So yeah, I'm good. I'm good with that.
Salty with I believe the sarcastic input here. He says you got to get up and turn it on. No deal. Which is what you just said. You actually have to get up and turn it on. You're out.
And then you got to have? What do you know? Like, got to have a little coffee table or something for your mouse and keyboard or something. I don't know. It just seems like a bunch of bullshit to me. You know, I'm not really in. God bless people that want to do that, but that's not for me. You know, have fun with it. Hey, you're corrupt. You can't do this. You can't. That's the main reason I buy digital mostly now. You know what I mean? Lazy fuck. I don't want to mess with this stuff. Come on, man.
I love the chat pays attention to everything we say. That's so good, because I heard you say that, and it did cross my mind. I'm like, well, that's an interesting stat Crap's got there. Get up, out. That's in the cons, right? So there's a pros and a cons. You would have literally wrote stand up in the cons.
Stand up. It is. Yeah, listen, like, how many games that I have? Imagine, like, I could just scroll through them on my hard drives, right, and pick something to play. If I had to go do that and look at my game collection, scour it, fucking pick one out, put in a disc, like, I would always just play one game all the time. You know what I mean? I'm not lying. That's just like, we could sit here and laugh and chuckle, but what Crap said actually does hold a little bit of weight. Think about why a lot of people buy. We don't talk about this, but what's the main reason? Pardon me, that people buy digital. They don't have to get up and take the disc out, put the new disc in, wait for this, wait for that. It's just, you just click it and forget it. You know what I mean? I think that's why we all went digital. It's just the convenience factor. Listen. Going from physical games to digital games is like having the crank for your door or for the window in your car versus the button. They both do the same thing, right? And it's not like you could say the crank was really exhausting. Was it exhausting you? Is getting up to put the game in exhausting you? Not really. But we prefer the digital and the button, don't we? We like the button. Like, could you ever go back to the crank from the button? No.
You couldn't. Nobody can go back to the crank
unless the button breaks and you can't really fix it. You know what I mean? You get it fixed like that. Yeah. Hey, that's true. You know what? My parents. Yeah, growing up, I remember we had old Cutlass, and the crank would break, and my dad would put the little vice grips on there, and then you'd have to.
Remember when somebody was talking to you in the car? They're cranking the window down, and they're talking to you, and you're not paying attention. They go too far with the crank.
Yeah.
Pop it right out.
I forgot all about it. Yeah.
Nostalgia,
that sucks, man. Yeah, it is.
Percolator 9000 says, "Hey guys, a little birdie told me that the super chat was not working. I had to tell that bird that it was working. Great, and downloading the demo
Mr.
now.
Twister, he's a new Mooch Maniac.
New Mooch Maniac, Mr. Twister, buddy. Welcome to the family, buddy. I truly appreciate that. Thank you, guys. And right above the description is that join button." And it means the world to me that you guys do that. It allows me to do the content that we have coming up and be able to get this equipment here in the room and provide some entertainment for you guys. Shout out to the great Def Jam Bam. He's up, Crap.
He is.
Bam's
soundbar is probably cranking.
Probably loud as hell.
It is, man. I could imagine, man. He's
Oh,
just cranking
definitely
that
a
shit.
Great to have Bam here. Rice79 says, what kind of simpleton would you be to join the PCMR to last gen's PS4 games for $50 premium years after release? That's interesting. That's a good point.
I mean, listen, it is a good point. Like, listen,
that makes sense.
We probably the motion's already in there. Just at some point, who knows what console gaming is. Every generation is supposedly the last generation for consoles or whatever. So right. I mean, I've heard that for the last 3. Yeah. So, I mean, we'll have to see. But, I mean, look, they're probably trying to hedge their bets and make a little bit of money after their games have hit that, like, $15, $20 mark, and they're not selling anymore, right? They're giving away Days Gone on the PlayStation Collection. So, it's probably not really selling or making them any money anymore, and so they're doing that. Again, that's not stuff day and date. I think that given the fact that they're aware of and they've even paid to keep games off PC, like Final Fantasy VII Remake. I think and even with something like Death Stranding, they managed to get a few months or 5 months or whatever it is, right, exclusivity. So they realize that there's some kind of benefit there. But I think they are risking pissing off their loyal fan base by doing too much of this, right? I think they should be careful, and that's not because somebody else gets to play the game. That's because you want people. They obviously, where would they be if people didn't buy their consoles, right? I'm sorry, but selling 12 million copies of Days Gone or of Horizon Zero Dawn on a PS4 is much more profitable than selling 750,000 copies on Steam. I agree with that. I'm just saying, you got to be careful, with the don't bite the hand that feeds you, I guess. And that, that to me is just something that, to me just kind of screams, that they're kind of at least paying somewhat of attention. And I hope that they continue to pay that attention, because you really need your hardcore gamers. Like, don't do what Microsoft did. Like, they really screwed over their hardcore gamers. And Mr. Ryan, you're no Phil Spencer. And what I mean by that is, people don't love you and worship you and, kiss your ass the way that they do Phil Spencer and let him get away with everything. They're not going to let you do that. You know what I mean? Like, you're not handsome enough or whatever the hell the problem is. So yeah, it just I think he has to watch himself, because I tell you what, PlayStation fans don't like that guy. And I mentioned that on Crossfire as well. Yeah. You look at, I've never seen a difference like that, right? Like, I look at Jim Ryan and I think, man, I don't trust that guy. He's slimy. I look at Phil Spencer. I'm like, I don't trust that guy. He's slimy. But if you look at the average PlayStation fan, they probably think Jim Ryan's a liar and he's slimy. But if you look at the average Xbox fan, they probably love Phil Spencer and think he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. He didn't know anything about raising Xbox Live Gold 100%.
No, how could he know?
That was just somebody above him, even though he's like the head of Xbox, sits on the board and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm sure he didn't know about any of that stuff. He didn't cancel Scalebound. Get out of here. He had
nothing to do with it. He never knew about
so I think that's the biggest difference. It's like that Phil gets these maniacs to just absolutely will go to war for that man.
Yes.
And I think that lets him get away with a lot more stuff. Okay. Jim Ryan, I don't think he has that luxury to kind of get away with that stuff. You know what I mean?
Right. No, I agree with you. I think that's the case. I have a different take on the whole PlayStation games going. And we talked about this on Crossfire, but crap, now you have one-on-one time to actually discuss this with you. And I think me and you were, I don't know if we're on the exact same side here, but I think there's a common ground. I don't think that these games going there 2-3 years after is just like the day and date is a sealed package. And the reason I say that is not because you could very easily dismantle my case and say this is why, and you can clearly see, and we've got evidence that this is what this leads to, and I'm going to buy into everything you're saying. But the one thing that's a little bit different here is exactly the fact that Sony has their IP. They have their recipe, if you will. And they can choose to do whatever they want with it. Now, if they choose to do day and date, they can. They certainly can.
Yeah.
But you're saying, and shout out to Rice who said it too. Like, here's the thing that's really important to understand, guys. They're taking a game from 2019 that now you could buy Days Gone for $20, $15, $25. I've seen it anywhere from $15 to $30 on sale or used, right? And they're going to go ahead and they're going to double dip and they're going to make $50, $60 on PC. They know they can do this. And look at every time they mention a game, whether it be Horizon Zero Dawn or Days Gone, people go nuts. Or even Death Stranding. People go nuts. So Sony's like, wait a minute. We've got a recipe for success here. We can dedicate all of our time and resources into putting our games on PS5. And then 2 years, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, that doesn't matter to me. That's irrelevant. 12 months, 24, 36 months, that's irrelevant to me completely. Heck, 6 months is irrelevant. I'm not waiting 6 months to play a game. I'm not. That's me. And I'm sure if you're listening to this show, neither are you. But my point being here is that Sony sees crap that they can put the game down, utilize the full potential of the PS5 in this PS4 prior generation, and then 2 years later, 3 years later, put the game on PC, have a dedicated PC port, either done by the same developing team or sub it out to a responsible team, and then make $50-$60 a copy again, where they can't do that on console. Why go and saturate the market day one when nobody can take their IP from them? Do you see where I'm coming from? I don't. It's two different companies.
Well, not only that, but if they're releasing it, I think that there would be a little bit of a backlash anyway, for a simple fact that what happens anyway is, so let's just say that they release they release their games day and date. Like, wouldn't there be some backlash for not doing it the way Microsoft does, which is basically, don't you get a free copy of the PC version if you buy the Xbox version or whatever, right? Sony's not.
It depends on the with
their stuff.
Oh yeah,
their stuff. You know what I mean? Like Gears or whatever. So
Gears 5, you have it also on PC, is what you're saying?
Yeah. So So my main thing that I would say about that is, when it comes to PlayStation, they want people to double dip and spend that money or whatever.
That's right.
Right. So I think that's probably one of the big reasons why they would probably avoid doing day and date as well. Also, at longer development times. I mean, let's just be real. Absolutely. You would have making for multiple SKUs or whatever. I think you would have a situation where you would see a lot longer development times and stuff like that, and maybe not being able to take full advantage of the platform and stuff. I think that would be a big problem as well. So, yeah, I don't think that we're in danger of anytime soon that happen. I just think that, it's something that probably is inevitable at some point,
Well,
but
look at I think crap of PlayStation.
Yeah.
Look at PlayStation's strategy, right? So Sony as a whole have put a lot of their eggs into the PlayStation brand, right? So a lot of that PlayStation brand does revolve around the PlayStation 5. Would you agree with that?
Well, yeah, they're a hardware company, so of course, absolutely.
Yeah. So I just think that that's the case. I think that that's a situation where Sony has a different strategy moving forward than Microsoft. Microsoft is way more interested in their services and software. It's a software-based company. Not that Sony won't get there. Sony definitely wants to make money on their software as well. But you can clearly see that they've put a lot of money, time, and attention into their hardware. So I think that's they're predominantly focused on double dipping, and they're able to do that.
Well, you also have to look at the fact that Microsoft has their own launcher and store on PC, right? Mm-hmm. Like, they make 100% on their own first party stuff. 100% of that is profit digitally. You know what I mean? Yeah. So Sony, they use Steam or Epic Game Store or whatever. They're not getting 100% of that. They're getting a percentage, but it's not nearly as good as what they would get off their own stuff digitally off their own console or whatever. Like I said, it's like there's a huge difference. You're making $1 billion off The Last of Us 2 on PS4, and if it sold 1 million copies on PC, you're making 45 million or whatever. There's they're or 50 million or whatever it is. Like I think that there's whatever the math is. I'm not really sure off the top of my head, but again, because it's the different percentages, I think Steam takes 30% or something like that. So I'm not sure exactly what the amount would be, but they get 100% of that off of the console. So
right, that's another good point. But I mean, I just think that, like I said, I don't necessarily. You can't speak in absolutes, right? So if you have a situation
you can't.
You absolutely can't. No, I just think that when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, if Sony's going to do day and date, that's fine. I personally don't care. PlayStation or Xbox is doing day and date, and I still buy it on the console. But it's and there
would be probably most think like you, but then I think there's also ones that think like me and think, well, I spent all this money on this thing, and they're not giving me a specific reason to do that. You know what I mean? And I also, like I mentioned, nobody seems to mention this point. Microsoft and Sony kind of rely on each other, yin and yang. Yeah. And so far, you can get all the Xbox stuff on PC. Yeah. So you have this contingent going, well, maybe I'll just play that stuff on PC. If PlayStation ever does that stuff, that's literally basically saying for one box, right? Like you could just skip an Xbox and a PlayStation, build a PC, and be able to play both, right? Like I think, and I do think that would, like, I don't know if Sony realizes that, or I don't think a lot of people have checked that out. And I understand that there's some that are like me, I'll never play on PC, so there's that contingent. But you are going to lose more and more console gamers that way, you know what I mean? Like, because think about it, man. If you could just play both on a PC, and you could spend, $700 to $1,000, you actually could save a little bit of money. You're not paying for online anymore,
right?
So there's not that, like you could definitely see people kind of going that way. So, that's just my opinion. Like, I know not everybody thinks that way, or they think I'm, whatever. But for me personally, I think you need a reason to buy these platforms, and I think the exclusivity is important. Like, give me, like, even if it's just a year, like I said, even with like Final Fantasy VII remake,
I think that's a great example. Like, that's a huge deal. I don't understand. Like, that's why I said it doesn't matter to me. Shout out to the great Jay Bari, who was on Crossfire, and he said, the problem, Mooch, is, he goes, it went 3 years, then 2 years. He goes, then we'll go down to 1 year. Myself personally, when it comes down to it, even if it's 6 months exclusive to the console, it doesn't matter. It gives you a reason for owning that hardware. I have a PC, so why you as the platform owner, you have to tell me, why am I still going to buy a PlayStation 6? Why am I going to buy an Xbox Series X2? I'm just coming up with names here. I'm just saying, why is it that I would buy that? Because if I can buy everything on PC, well then, crap. Even though you said I don't want to get up and turn the PC on thing, I got news for you. At that point, you might as well put the PC into your living room, hook it up to your TV, because you have a TV that can handle it, and you might as well start buying your games there, because you just said it yourself. Why are you paying an unnecessary cost of online gaming, etc., when they don't care? That's why I think Sony's trying to double dip here. And I do want to say shout out to Royal Boyle. Great to have Royal here. Awesome New York fan, big New Yorker too. He says, don't agree with it day and date. Bottom line is, I'm a loyalist, and I'm still going to buy their games regardless, because I own a PlayStation console. And Royal, that's what they're kind of banking on. Shout out also to All-Round Gamer, who becomes a Mooch Maniac family member. Thank you so much for that, All-Around. Thank you. I truly appreciate that, guys. That is the button right above the description is the join button. It means a lot. Thank you so much. But yeah, I one thing we should talk about, crap, while we're on the PlayStation 5 subject here, is PlayStation 5's internal SSD expansions are rumored to be available this upcoming summer. And
yeah,
I personally didn't mind, but now it's starting to get a little bit on the annoying side. Like, I've had to uninstall a game. The minute I beat it, I uninstall the game, and I have to get rid of, like, I was playing Borderlands 3, but I was kind of playing it really, really kind of nonchalantly, right? I was just putting it on, playing the game when I had some spare time. Well, there was other games I wanted to play, so in order to make room on the PS5, I had to just delete it. Mr. Twister, did you send one? I apologize. The great Mr. Twister. He is right. He says, Mooch, you skipped me. He says, it's funny how Jim claims they are experiencing hard times when they just had a record-breaking quarter and year. A few years in, and a row, actually, Lion Ryan. So let me read that again. He says, it's funny how Jim claims that they are experiencing hard times when they just had a record-breaking quarter and year. A few years in a row, he's saying, actually, Lion Ryan. Well, you kind of spoke to that on Friday as well, crap, about, Jim Ryan and his antics. And maybe it wasn't the right time for, jumping to
I thought it was a little bit greedy. Right? I thought he misread the room. I thought it was a little bit greedy. They just come off like the best results, the best profit and that they've ever had. And, I felt like, it was a bit of a letdown, to say the least, that they were able to, that they did that. You know what I mean? I thought that it was kind of a piss poor time to do that. It's like lately they've been mixing up their messages. They've been kind of, here's some good news, here's some bad news. Here's some good news, here's some bad news. You know what I mean? It's like, and I understand some of the bad news can be pandemic related. Okay. Like, look, God of War, that's probably going to be delayed. Gran Turismo 7, that's delayed.
It's delayed,
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, that stuff happens. We have no control over that. You know, them closing down, you know, Japan studios, you know, that's bad news.
Right.
You know, I feel like, but Jim Ryan says the exact opposite. No, we're not, you know, we're not changing anything. We're not doing this. We're not doing that. You know, for me, I just feel like, you know, I don't trust the guy at all, really. You know, that's just me, though.
Well, that's understandable. I mean, think about it though. We discussed, you know, the heads of PlayStation and Xbox, and we talk about these, you know, these employees that work there. But I mean, do you feel like you can trust the CEO of Ford, or how about the CEO, right? Or how about the CEO? You guys, crap. You told me about the movie. I watched it. It was fantastic. It was the McDonald's with Michael Keaton. Not the producers. What is it called there? It's now I'm drawing a blank.
Oh, the founder.
A founder. And let me tell you something. So you watch that. That is a great movie to watch. Go watch The Founder, guys. It's an unbelievable movie. And it just gives you a look at how corporate...
That guy basically... that guy basically, if you don't know, like, he basically muscled the McDonald's original owners out of the business and took over. Right. He basically just muscled them completely out.
They're there to make money, guys. So I don't blame Phil or Jim for their money-making antics. That's what they're there to do. If they don't do that, guess what? They're gone. They're going to be replaced. So these guys are doing what they have to do. We just have to be on the smart side of the coin and try to use our Ovaltine decoder rings to see what they're trying to pump out and what the real message is here. And, you know, shout out to All Around Gamers. Says Sony has been a bit all over the place with messages. There will be change as the previous ship crew is gone and they got a whole new captain. Main thing is that Sony continues with its great games. That is definitely a true statement all around. I can't argue with that. But, you know, the internal SSD update that's coming this summer, rumored to be, is much needed at this point, crap.
Yeah. Oh, you know what it is? Because and I'll give Microsoft props and credit where it's deserved, because Microsoft, like, I can move, well, they don't really have new games per se, but I could move something from the internal to the external and save it there. You know what I mean? And then move it back over. On the PlayStation 5, you have to delete it and then re-download it. You can't store the stuff on the externals. Right.
That's
so that to me is a big problem.
The only thing you can do with the PlayStation 5 externals are PS4 games.
Yeah, exactly. And not the PS5 stuff. So it is a bit disappointing. So hopefully they get that sorted out for this summer. You know, I wasn't sure when you know, exactly when that would be. You know, they said, hey, we're not going to have that launch. Kind of, it is what it is. I would like to know what, like, the prices would be and stuff like that, because, you know, so I could set it aside a little bit. But it's like, either way, this generation is going to be different than last generation for me, because I'll probably delete stuff as I beat it or as I get finished with it or whatever. Whereas last gen, I really like just to have everything on there. So that, because some days you might want to play something else, you know, like some days I may be in a mood to play something stupid with my wife. We might play Jeopardy or something, or, you know what I'm saying? And then one day, next day, I might want to play Call of Duty, you know what I'm saying? So, which Call of Duty is its own problem these days, you know what I mean? It's like, geez, I can't even have a 250. Yeah, it's crazy, man. I can't believe it.
So these new SSDs that are, you know, they're going to be on the market soon for purchase. I do want to say something about people who are worried about, you know, kind of going to the topic we've been speaking about as far as like PlayStation games going to PC. If they make a game for the PS5 that utilizes the SSD speeds, people need to understand too. And Optimus brought this up on Porter Rock show we had this past week. For the amount of people who have PCs that have 2080s plus in them is very low. You know, we have to remind ourselves, a lot of people are running out here with 1080s with 8 gigs of RAM, you know?
That's right.
So just to play a PlayStation 5 game, you're going to need a SSD that has the throughput of doing between 8 to 10 or 8 to 9 gigabytes per second. Keep in mind, I just bought a top-of-the-line SSD that's doing about 7 right now. So, you know, unless they.
No, you're putting things in perspective here, Nova, for the consumer. They don't necessarily know about all of this. And when we talk about PC gaming is exploding, it is, but it's not exploding in the same mantra that, like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's people are buying PCs, but they're not buying PCs that have 3090s in them, right? They don't have the 10900 series CPUs. They don't have, they're not buying the latest and greatest from AMD and Intel, like you're seeing people talk about online. That's and you're trying to say what the amount you're getting in these new consoles for that price point it's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. You'd have to spend easily $2,000 to get something comparable to a PS5. So, I mean, I don't think we should worry too much about it. Now, when it, like Crap says, I do think it can set a dangerous precedent to what may come. But again, for these games that are made for PS5, I wouldn't worry about it. I don't think people are willing to. Oh, I don't think Sony's willing to say, "Hey, we're going to drop the specs for in the development for this game, so people can play this on PC." I think it's quite the opposite. It's going to be, "Hey, if your PC can match up to the PS5, then okay, it'll work." But besides that, I don't see it happening anytime soon. And what would be the outrage right now if instead of Days Gone, Sony released Bloodborne on PC? I think people would go insane.
No, they
that's probably coming.
Well, you never know. That's going to be
There's been rumor. I mean, there's been rumors of that for a long time. You know what I mean? Like, I guess people want a 60 frame update on it because that game always had bad frame rate from what I hear.
Yeah, I think what you're going to see with that game, though, Crap, is more of what you saw with like the Neo 2 remastered. So you'll have a situation, Nova, where you'll see that there possibly could be a PC port for 60 frames or better, of course, on PC. But I think you'll also see that that'll come day and date with a PlayStation 5 upgrade for Bloodborne at 60 frames as well, with better graphical intensity. Let me just I got a couple super chats here that I don't want to fall back on. Adrian Gorin, he says, "I hope we will continue to get great games on PlayStation Plus from now on, like the last few months, because
it seems like they're viewing that." Yeah, I mean, it seems like they're viewing that as a huge source of revenue again, and that's another reason why you don't want to rock the boat. You've got 50 million people paying PlayStation Plus, and you don't want to start putting your new shit on PC where they don't have to pay to play online, and there's not that incentive or whatever. You know what I mean? You have to, and I really do think that they're really going all out with that. Whereas Microsoft, I don't know what the hell they're trying to do. They're like wearing garlic or something, trying to scare a vampire with their, you know what I'm saying? With their offering. They had that one good month last month. Remember when they raised it 100%? They're like, we'll raise it 100%, but we'll give them a couple decent games, right? And now it's like this month, it was like, well, that didn't work. Let's go ahead and send them out the dollar bid game. Like those games, I'm not even going to lie, terrible. I've never even heard it. Like Mooch, awful, just awful. So like, man,
I'm with you.
I don't know. It's like, and here's the funny thing, right? Like the thing is, they're probably trying to get people off of that onto Game Pass Ultimate, right? No doubt, that's their plan. Okay,
absolutely.
But they're probably
games with gold and everything's such a great service. Then why would you jump over?
Exactly, because you have to understand is, and I tell people this because people are like, it's the best value in gaming, and I'm like, listen, some people just want to play the game online.
Yeah,
they want to play their Call of Duty or Fortnite or what have you. They're not worried about 300 games or whatever. You know what I'm saying? They don't give a shit about that. They don't want to pay 180.
Games.
Yeah, they don't want to pay $180 a year for that shit. They want to pay their 60 or whatever it is a year. And play the games that they want to play. So people it's like so hard headed.
They
don't understand
are also
that.
not true representation. You see 18 million.
Yeah, well, I mentioned this as well. Right, like you look at the number of EA Now subscribers, and they doubled since they went on Game Pass. They went another 6 million, right? So they added 6 million. So there's 6 million Ultimate subscribers. I mean, that might not include PC, but you can kind of get an idea. So they're probably like, this is just strictly my opinion, just kind of using math and stuff like that. But they're probably at the 10 to 12 million active subscriber mark, whereas they've had 18 million subscribers overall, and that number will never go down. Just like with Sea of Thieves, they're like 15 million people have played Sea of Thieves. That doesn't mean that there's 15 million people right now playing Sea of Thieves. Well, it just means that 15 million at some point have booted that shit up and played it. Like actively, there's like 30,000 playing it. But 15 million. So I guess that's a success. But when you look at like what they're talking about, they never say active subscribers or concurrent subscribers. They just say we've had 18 million subscribers, right? Like they do things a little bit different.
Yep, and I just want to finish Adrian's super chat here.
By all means.
Thank you very much, Crap. He says, because of the extra revenue coming from PC ports, it seems Ryan is doubling down on timed exclusives as well, which that I completely agree with. And shout out to the
They didn't even need to do that, though, because they made so much money, right? Like, they already said that. They made so much money, they're going to invest that money into either buying studios or getting exclusives and stuff like that. So, yeah, they had nothing to do with PC ports. You know what I mean? Like they were already doing so well. Like, listen, this is the thing that frustrates me, because it's that whole clown image of like people getting dressed up like a clown. Oh, putting our games on PC means we'll get more games, right? Like that never happened. That's what Xbox fans said for years, and it never fucking happened. The same thing, it's never going to happen for PlayStation because all their studios are already busy working on exclusives. How are you going to get more than what they're already working on? It's not really going to work that way, right? Like what it is. Okay, it's like they want more money because they're greedy. They're a company, just like Microsoft. That's the bottom line. I think they have a little bit more care in it because PlayStation brand is basically what keeps Sony afloat. So you don't want to rock the boat too much, but they always want to make more money. It's always about money, always.
No, it absolutely is.
Just being honest.
No, you make some great points there. Very valid points, Crap. Shout out to the Action Luca. I'm really glad she stopped by this morning. She was outstanding on Crossfire as well, and Scumcast was awesome yesterday. She says, "What's up, fellas?" She says, "Starting to farm in Outriders. Really enjoying the game, surprisingly. I think I will cop it for PS5 since Xbox still won't let me play." Oh, yeah. Well, you can go out there and basically, get better equipment. You can keep playing the missions.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Well,
I get
Luca,
what you mean,
I'm also going to be buying it, I feel, on PS5 for multiple reasons. That would be one of them, too. Xbox is having a bit of a hard time with the servers, etc. But I'm really enjoying the feel of it with the DualSense. That's a me problem, probably, but shout out to Luca there. Appreciate her stopping by the show. And then Mr. Twister comes back. He says, other than Bloodborne and Astrobot, the rest of Sony Japan portfolio was lackluster in the recent years, but it gave unique identity to PlayStation. Mr. Twister really nails that crap. I don't necessarily have a problem with them restructuring or downsizing what they're doing with Sony Japan, because I think that much like we said the same thing with Xbox, I'm going to say the same thing here. Sony is cutting the fat in the sense of where their studios are not making a tremendous amount of money for them, they're going to go better utilize that money into other teams, right? Maybe Blue Point, maybe Remedy.
I hear you, but the thing that I would say is they helped with both Demon's Souls remake and with Bloodborne. So if you like those type of games,
you're not going to get rid of that talent. They're just assembling.
Well, I mean, a lot of them have already moved on, like the main guy or whatever. They've already kind of formed a different studio. So I would say this: it also seems like Sony is doubling down on AAAs, which is great, like for somebody like me. But it's like I understand that it's probably important to have studios that can do other things that maybe necessarily wouldn't be the hit, because if you think about it, this could be a indication that Sony's really betting big on sequels more now instead of new IP.
Right.
And I like new IP, and I think that, I would hope that, because it's riskier, that we would still continue to still see new IP. But think about it, it's like, very few of these developers have the chance. Like Naughty Dog, they'll do a new one. Right, like we don't know what the hell that'll be, but we're going to get a Days Gone sequel. That's a foregone conclusion. We're going to get a Ghost of Tsushima sequel. That's already been pretty much announced. That's already been confirmed. We're going to get, a Horizon sequel, a God of War sequel. But I also think sequels are great, and that's awesome. But I also like new IP and interesting IP, right? So I think they got to kind of keep that balance. And I hope that they are able to sort of keep that balance as well. And so I do think that Sony Japan, while yes, they've been very miss lately. I mean, they did The Last Guardian or whatever that was in development hell for a long time. A game that they did that I liked on the PS3 was Puppeteer. I thought that was pretty fun. But I mean, it just sucks that it kind of, at their highest possible profits and revenue, they start, hey, let's put our shit on PC and start cutting down some of our studios.
I almost think that that's a coincidence. I don't think that that's I don't think one has anything to do with the other crap. It's just a coincidence, right?
Well, the thing is this, okay? You look at it. Jim Ryan goes, "We're not abandoning the Japanese market."
What would you have said, crap, if it was the other way around? What if PlayStation 5 wasn't breaking record sales? Let's say they were actually below their normal rate at this point in time in the last generation, and then this information came out. They'd be like, "Well, it makes sense. They're looking to make more money because clearly they're down." Right? I think it's just coincidence. It just so happens that they mentioned that they're doing better than usual, and we're like, "Well, why are they double dipping?" It's the same thing we would have said, like,
"Well,
this
the
is
thing
odd,
is that
right?
studio,
It's just a coincidence. I don't think
yeah,
it has
but that studio, for instance, was doing games that would appeal to the Japanese market. Them kind of shuttering them basically means that they're probably giving up on that Japanese market. You know,
I don't think so at all. Crap, you have to stop and look. And again, shout out to the great Jay Bari. Just go to his channel and check out the work that he does over there, and he shows there's so many Japanese developer titles that are on PlayStation and only PlayStation. Crap, that's not necessarily the case at all. I really just think that if you look at, like Mr. Twister was saying, if you look at the portfolio of what's actually come out of that studio, it's not a lot. They helped with some games, right? And they were probably a tremendous help, but they weren't putting anything out that systematically keeps the lights on and all that money that they're burning.
Basically, they're the Double Fine of Japanese game developers, putting out nothing of note. Yeah, I mean nothing of note.
They're the Lionhead, but I mean, they're utilizing so much stuff. Like Lionhead did a lot of great things right back in the day. They had this and that working for them. They had a big IP coming out, but they were just draining more cash than making it. And in that case, they downsize and they got to move that money over somewhere else. I mean, look at AJ Felton. Shout out to AJ. It's been a while since I've seen him in the chat. He says, "I like Gravity Rush." Great. What year was that?
Well, they did Gravity Rush, which was a Vita exclusive. I don't remember. It was a Vita exclusive, and then they did Gravity Rush Remaster on PS4, and then they did Gravity Rush 2 as a straight-up PS4 game.
That's what I'm saying, but that was a long time ago, and it's like, and did Gravity Rush sell 17 million copies? No,
Gravity Rush sold piss poor. It came out on January 18, 2017.
I would rather Sony looks at their studios. This is something that I'm only commenting from far away, guys. So don't take this with a grain of salt. I'm just saying from a long distance view, I'd rather they see what of their developing teams are not making the money, and then go buy a Blue Point, go buy a Remedy, go buy a Kojima. You know what I mean? Like put the money into who's making games right now.
Kojima was about to do a Stadia exclusive. Jeez.
Oh, hey.
Right.
Stadia.
I mean, no, he was. Did you read about that?
No, I did not.
Yeah, all those documents came out. Stadia had he was working on, that's what Project Hanger was, apparently some kind of horror game that was going to be exclusive to Stadia or whatever. But then what's his name? Phil Harrison canceled it. They had a bunch of other kind of exclusives and stuff going too that they just up and canceled, like third party exclusives and stuff like that. So weird to me, right? Because they ended up doing exactly what people like me said they would do, right? So,
yeah, no, I'm with you now. Crap, I do want to bring up another subject here before too much time goes by, and that is the Halo screenshots that came up. I think I'm on record as saying that I thought they looked nice, but it really just looked like different lighting and a bit more polish on the same pictures we saw months and months ago. I'm just saying it could be a day and night transition, guys. When we go to play Halo Infinite at the end of this year, it may be day and night, and that's fine. That's fine. But I'm saying to you, from what I saw from those pictures, I wasn't like, well, clearly they redid the whole thing. Clearly this is back on track. I saw the same picture in different lighting, maybe a little more polished. What was your take, Crap, when you saw those 4 pictures? Are you completely sold that Halo
No,
Infinite
I'm not sold on Halo Infinite until I get to play it and see. I want to see some reviews and stuff like that. To me, it looked like they okay. So basically, what I'll compare it to is this. And I believe this is. I think I'm pretty right on this. So on Ghost of Tsushima, on the photo mode, you can pick the time of day, right? You can pick the weather and stuff like that. There's bland looking pictures like just in the daytime or whatever, but if you have it just right and the sun shining and maybe some rain glinting or whatever, it can look fantastic. I think that what they did was with that they do the 24-hour thing or whatever, day-night cycle or whatever. They just switched it up a little bit. I think they did improve some textures and stuff like that. It looks better for sure.
Better. Absolutely.
It does not look next generation to me. So I think that is something that a lot of people would probably agree with. I mean, I don't think it looked like, oh my God, this thing is melting my face. It wasn't anything like that. And this was high-end PC footage, by the way. Or, I want to see this thing in motion. First of all, I want to see Craig. How does he look now? I want to see, I want to see how this thing, does everything still look plastic? Because the trees and stuff still have that plastic tint to them.
Yes, they do.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think that, anybody could go, well, look at this. They could have done that shit in Photoshop for all we know. How can we put anything past this team? This team actually, like Microsoft basically forged an E3 demo a couple of years ago, that one with the guy on the plane or whatever.
Yes.
That was completely CGI, completely fake. They admitted that. So, you have to really kind of take that in perspective. I don't take anything that they do on faith. This game has been in development for 6+ years now.
Why not show us? Here's my thing, crap. People were down on State of Play, and that's fine. If you didn't like the showing, that's fine.
It was average. I get it.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. But how long's it been since we had a version of Inside Xbox? Or why not show us how Halo Infinite's coming along instead of taking 4 still shots in photo mode? I'm joking there, but 4 still shots and just polishing, up-resing it, and sending it out. Give us something to actually see how you're coming along versus something that can be very highly doctored in photos. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I agree 100%. I agree 100%. I think that would have been the smart thing to do, kind of get that out there.
That would prove to me.
Yeah, why not? Listen, that's the first thing I like. I want to see that section that they played last year again, and it all looking great.
Show me the same footage, the same area, but now with your new team, and you went in and you made
at the same time and everything. You know what I mean? Don't exactly. Don't make it. The sun glints, so you get those little rays come in to make it look great. Because we all do that when we do photo mode. You know what I mean? So that stuff can be faked. Like, show us what's going on. You know what I mean? Like, show us side by side, so that we can see kind of what's going on and what they've actually changed and what they've actually improved. I hope that they improve a lot, and I hope that it's good. Look, Xbox needs a win. We both have one. So they need a win desperately. I hope that this thing comes out this year, and I hope it's great. Honestly, I do.
Crap.
They need it bad. I want to play the only thing I use my damn Xbox for is Hulu or watch Harry Potter, because I got those movies on my
did you buy it on
my movies
sale?
Anywhere.
I bought it.
My wife's a big fan, so I bought all of them.
Well, the family is as well. So Xbox had a sale, and I know, guys, you guys are all going to get upset with me in the chat. You're going to get it cheaper on Amazon. I know, but I got the ultra high definition versions of all 8 of the movies. Right, well, 7's a part 2, but 8 of the movies. Okay. And it was $57, I think it was, on sale. I picked them all up on Microsoft's store.
On their store, yeah.
Yeah, I picked it up, and we just bought it last week before it went off deal. And you know what? I'll be honest with you, it's great. I like having those types of. I have quite the on-demand now selection of.
So do I. I probably got about 100 of them. Yeah, it's like
you got me.
You can do the movie. Yeah, you can do the movies anywhere, which is cool. So it basically imports your movies from other sites as well. Like if you were to get something from someplace else or whatever. And the reason why I like that is, Mooch, is because I still buy 4K Blu-rays, but those come with a 4K Blu-ray, a regular Blu-ray, and a digital version that goes into the movies anywhere.
Okay.
So you get 3 versions of that for cheaper usually than like that. So it's like, my wife's a big Hunger Games fan. She's a big fan of Harry Potter. So I bought those and I keep those on there, and that way we can watch them whenever we want. And I got a bunch of others. Like I bought the Rambos. They were $5 the other day for the remastered versions or whatever. So I bought those each. You know what I mean? Like I'll get shit on sale all the time on there. You know what I mean? Like just to be able to watch it, like can chill out and watch shows or whatever. So
no, I agree.
Yeah.
No, it was great. Vedger in the chat here, he says, what do you think Sony here is preparing for a huge rocket launch partnership on PS Now with Blizzard, Activision, Epic Games, Warner Brothers, and Valve? He's wondering if the strike from Sony is going to come down in the fact of them making a deal with one of these other big publishing units to get something on PS Now. I don't know if they would do that. I don't know. I
have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question, Bedger. It's a great question. It's just something that I haven't seen any signs pointing that Sony wants to put hard-earned cash into that kind of a relationship with anybody. I think they're looking more into doing something nowhere near the size of a Bethesda deal, but grabbing amazing talent like Blue Point. And I throw Remedy out there over and over again just because I think they just fit very nicely into the Sony wheelhouse. I could be completely wrong, and that's fine if you guys don't agree with me. I just think that's where I see them putting their money if they're going to start spending, in the hundreds of millions category.
Yeah, you know what? I think that could be the case as well. I think that I think that they have a lot of surprises planned. Like I think that even though there's not going to be an E3 this year, I think that we're going to be able to see. There's obviously going to be some games to show and things like that. Right. So I hopefully that can be the case. You know what I mean? And for me personally, I think that would be great. Again, I'm not expecting anything huge this year. It's a pandemic year. So I think that it's going to take, we'll be feeling the effects of this for years down the road, to be honest with you. Like people that don't think that, it's just, we are, right? We are going to be faced with this stuff for a long time. So, I mean, what do you think about that?
Yeah, no. I apologize. I was reading some of the chats. What's your question pertaining to, Crap?
I'm saying, what do you feel about like the pandemic that's going on? Like that's going to affect stuff years down the line.
Absolutely, right. It definitely stops the dominoes right now from falling, which is just going to have a carryover. So you're 100% accurate on that. We're going to feel the effects of this for years to come. But at the same time, I'm kind of impressed. I think you've mentioned this too. I'm kind of impressed at what we're getting through this era. We're still getting games. I understand that some of them are delayed, but they're not getting delayed by years. I mean, Halo did, but like Returnal was a few months. Deathloop was months. Far Cry 6.
But you're looking at those games were in development for years already. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, like I feel like you don't know where the complexity is here, Crap. I mean, is the complexity of development early on much more harder on the developing team than it is for the middle end of the cycle? I don't know. That's.
I mean, yeah, I think towards the end is very tough because that's when you're like, you're finalizing a lot of the stuff. You know what I mean? Like your resolution, you're getting it. This thing's got, and also you have to think that they used to be able to have like a lot of testing and making sure that these games run smooth, and they're not really having that as much now. That's true. What I'm saying? Like, listen, all the games that they've actually come out with this year have had some kind of issues since the pandemic, right? Like they've all had it. So
no, that's what I'm saying. Everyone's experiencing it equally. So I completely agree with that there. I want to see here all around. He says, you guys are not worried about the Halo storyline as it's ever expanding constantly, which will take ages and could damage the lore. Whereas they concentrated on one full story at a time prior. That is going to be interesting. I don't know how they're going to attack this. I know what they're trying to do. I know what they're trying to do as far as the plan moving forward. Crap, right? That 10-year Destiny plan, which, Destiny's is doing, whether you like Destiny or you don't. They are doing it. I don't know if Halo's going to be able to copy that mantra and move forward. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Listen, if it's going to be a 10-year thing, you know what I mean? Then is it going to have a beginning, a middle, and an end?
Well, that's what he's asking. Are they going to have a story that ends? I don't think
that's what I'm saying. Like, if they're going to do something for 10 years, like, is it going to have like a soft ending?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, is it going to have like a true ending? It's like, if you guys understand what I'm saying, like, how are they going to go about that? I feel like I'm very interested to see that for myself, right? Like, I feel like it's going to be very open-ended if they're just going to continue to add stuff to it. But hopefully they are actually going to be able to have, sort of a beginning, a middle, and an end, and kind of do it cleanly or whatever. Because let's just be real, Halo 5 story was god awful. It wasn't it. You know what I mean?
No,
it wasn't it at all. It was not well done. It was very even Phil Spencer, for what it's worth. We heard from like people like Tim Dog and stuff that Phil hated the story in Halo 5. That wasn't how it was supposed to be. It wasn't how it was explained to him or whatever. So, we'll see how that goes.
Do you think that they're going to completely? Can they sidestep 5, or no? They have to. Whatever they're doing.
No,
Halo
I mean they're not going to be really. They're not really going to sidestep it. I don't think. I just think that it's going to be more focused on Chief,
as it should be.
Yeah,
as it should.
I think that's what people want. You know what I mean? And then people will go back to the Arbiter thing and Halo 2 and go, well, remember they hated Arbiter in that one too, but that was the second game. This is like 7 games in, 8 games. Like people don't want to play as other people. Like, yeah, maybe give me a level 2 as an Arbiter and that's fine. But when you're playing Chief in only 2 or 3 missions, I feel like that really kind of slapped people in the face that were really kind of, showcase a little bit difference,
Absolutely. Now, Crap, you had mentioned it earlier. We didn't really kind of, and I see Nova's got it going on the scroller there. I just want to talk about this before the end of the show. E3, so E3 2021 is all but canceled at this point. Is this true?
They canceled it, yeah.
It is canceled.
I mean,
right?
it's in California. They have the strictest laws for all this stuff. So, of course, yeah, I mean, it makes sense that they already canceled it.
Okay, so with that being canceled, and you're seeing what we're getting now in the state of plays, and apparently we've got something coming next month from Microsoft after the Bethesda deal is complete. So this is where we're going now. Is E3 completely done as far as you're concerned? Will we see it back in 2022?
Yeah.
You think so?
You know what I mean? I just I really think that it's it's just one of those situations where it could be. I don't really know.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that we need an E3 to come back.
I think we need it because I miss it, right? Most than anything, I miss like the live audience and the kind of reaction and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So I think that that's something that I really do. I miss sort of that type of situation, and everybody kind of going at once. You would have Microsoft going, and you have EA going, you'd have Ubisoft going, you'd have, what I mean, Sony going, like Nintendo would do a direct in the middle of it somewhere. I miss that type of situation where it'd be all that kind of one, everybody kind of do a blowout type of situation. But for me, I really do think that that I hope that that's what they do, because I got to be honest, these directs and stuff don't go as good. I like I like that as like a little added thing, right? Like the state of play and the game, whatever the hell Microsoft does, with their thing. Although theirs is kind of cheesy. I like those if they have stuff to actually talk about, showcase it. I really like the deep dives, like what they did with Ghost of Tsushima and The Last of Us 2.
Yeah, like
those were like extended, like 20-25 minute things. I really enjoyed those. You know what I mean? And I think that as far as continue to do that, but also do like an E3 type event, or remember Sony used to do something at the end of the year. It was like PlayStation something or other. I think that they need to do that as well. So I miss that stuff. I think everybody does. So I hope that we get something like that back next year.
That would be nice. That was a better scale show than the state of plays for sure. I completely agree with that. Q Perspective, he says, Mooch, you have the pandemic, but you also have the fiasco called Cyberpunk, which no development companies want to have a title launch compared to it, so there will be delays forever galore. Well, it is what it is. I think that when it comes down to it, no, I think Cyberpunk was a huge learning experience for so many people. Huge learning experience. I don't know. Myself personally, I think that you're going to have companies will go ahead and they will delay as needed. And that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. Delays never really bother me. They're par for the course nowadays. And the pandemic just kind of reinforces that. If you go back to early last generation, we used to think that delays were a sign of weakness. That's not true anymore. It's just not true anymore.
I mean, you can't get mad at people. People dying out there. You know what I mean? Like, what are you going to say? Hey, get your ass back to work. You know what I mean? Like,
no, I agree. I give them all the time that they need. And I don't find it to be a problem because the games come out better. And the gamers, we all make out better. Like games come out better and gamers make out better. Everybody wins. So when teams need an extra 3, 4, 5 months, that's not a problem. When you get into a situation like Halo, where Halo's not necessarily a problem due to the pandemic, it's more of an issue I think they're having internally. There was a lot of reports within 343. You're seeing a lot of 343 people are leaving. That's more of an internal issue they're having there, and you can see with a year delay when they plan to have it as their console launch for the Xbox Series X.
Well, what's interesting is I expect full everything to sort of go to shit once that game hits out anyway. Right? Like I think there's going to be a lot of turnover at that studio. Bonnie Ross is gone. A lot of people are gone after that game ships. I mean, you don't literally, looks like they spent over $500 million on this game, 6+ years, probably got scrapped a time or two. You know what I mean? It looked like crap when they went to show it. You know what I'm saying? I think like somebody has to pay for that. You know?
Right. And so now, Bonnie's not gone yet, though.
No, but I mean,
you think there'll be a change in power after the game comes out?
I think so.
I think it's possible.
She's the head of the studio, but what has she done in her entire time there?
Yeah, I don't know. I know that they have mixed up quite a bit. I think that Joseph Statton's probably going to play a major role in that.
Why not give him the role, the studio head? You know, make him the head of the studio. Yeah, people would feel better about it.
No, I completely agree with you. I really, really do. I think that's
I'm just saying they would feel much better about it.
It'll be interesting to see what happens. I mean, Halo right now for me is still a puzzle wrapped in a mystery. You know what I mean? I don't know what's going on over there. Why we haven't seen more? I'm sorry, 4 snapshots. You know, and then Joseph Statten coming out being like, "Yep, that's from us." I was like, all right, whatever. I guess. You know, I would have liked to have seen some gameplay or something.
I mean, like I said, that shit could have been photoshopped. I mean, that shit could have been anything. To be honest with you.
It looked better. It definitely looked better, but it was just a polished, you know, up-resed image of what we saw, you know, back in July.
Yeah.
So
hey, real quick before we get out of here, did you hear Microsoft's holding a What's New for Gaming event in March?
I did see something like that. It was like March 23rd or something like that.
March 23rd. Yeah. What's New in Gaming? Like my joke for that was, you know, nothing if you're an Xbox fan. You know what I mean? Because you haven't had anything
I don't know what
541 days as of today, folks, without a AAA exclusive. I mean, that's
what do you
that's a long time.
What do you think that event's going to bring?
I think that event is going to take place after the closure of the deal with Bethesda, and so I think that they probably will show something Starfield related. Or I don't think that game's coming out this year, but I think the same thing that that happens. You know, they're gonna tease something and make you wait for it. That's basically what Microsoft does. They're gonna say, "Hey, here's some of this, and maybe it's exclusive, but maybe not. I don't know at this point. But you know, it's not coming out anytime soon. But here it is." You know what I mean? Like, I think something like that is going to be, you know,
I don't know.
Probably what we'll see. You know, maybe people are like, maybe they have a new Forza game. In my opinion, I don't think there's a new Forza game. I think there might be a new expansion for Forza 4. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that might be something that we see, but I think that everybody just like, to me, I look around and I just see people say the same thing year after year. They probably have a big surprise this year. Like, how many times have we heard that, Mooch?
Right. 1 million.
4 or 5 years in a row, and there's never. What was the big surprise last year? The hell's that damn game that's already closed up? Bleeding Edge.
Yeah.
Right. That was the surprise last year, or whatever it was, or 2 years ago. Yeah. You know, like again,
that was like a surprise. Like when you walked into a party, you already knew it was going to be for you. You're like, oh, I guess I have to act excited.
Yeah,
I think that's the case. I think you're right to that. That's the one thing. And shout out to a couple people in the chat I've been talking to. You know, I don't understand. You know, what I love to do is I like to have a discussion. I like to have different points of view. I think that Microsoft is doing some things correct. I think that they're still, at the end of the day, they're going down a path of services and providing things in a different light, which I'm not saying are wrong, but it is what it is. I personally like a little bit more of a traditional method. I think that Microsoft could have double dipped. I think they could have done what they're doing and still paid attention to all sides of the Triforce, the Triforce being mobile, PC, and console. I think they could have done it and attacked it a bit differently. They went hardcore in one particular area and doing a focus on PC and services because, let's be honest, they weren't selling very well. Their games weren't selling very well. It is what it is. Like, you see all kinds of numbers. You saw what Miles Morales sold in the first 3 months. It's staggering.
Yeah, like 5 million. Yeah.
You just don't see that on the Xbox side. So they had to pivot. They had to do what they had to do. So I'm not saying what they're doing is wrong. I'm just saying that their strategy and what their focus moving forward is different. I typically do. I like to have a show where I like difference of opinion. I do. I like to look at some. We've definitely critiqued Sony today. We've definitely critiqued Microsoft. Crap loves to critique Stadia. That's one of his, I think it's on his resume, actually. And he loves to do it. And that's fine. That's fine. Because each of these areas have a place of growth and some of them have a lot of decline. And there's times that you have to talk about situations differently. So, there's a couple of you guys out there going, geez, Mooch, I wish you were still talking about Xbox in this light. A lot's happened since 2013. A lot of different things happen in this industry. And it's interesting, it's fascinating, and you can clearly see as we're moving forward, things are not just, the same exact thing from 2013, 2014 moving forward. We've got a lot going on, and I welcome a difference of opinion. So I think that's the difference here is when you come here, your opinions are definitely valid. I like to hear that you have a difference of opinion from what I'm saying, maybe from what's Crap saying, what Nova's saying. But that's what makes this show and this channel here a little bit different than others. I'm not trying to have an echo chamber in here of just the same old, same old. I like to have a little bit of a different spin. I like a different take on things. So, if you guys like coming here and giving your opinions, definitely do that. If you just want to, this is great, and that's it. That's not necessarily what we're here to do. We're here to have open discussion, open forum. So I want to say that this was a great show today. And I know that we haven't been here day in and day out on Sundays, but like I said, we had scheduling issues. But we will be here every Sunday. Next Sunday, we'll be back on Crap's channel. So do check us out over there. And the great Nova, who's done unbelievable work. I do want to do another shout out to Cool Hand Cruz. Shout out to Mr. Twister, all around gaming, for joining the channel. I truly appreciate you guys doing that. And all the great super chats. You guys were awesome. If you didn't get a chance to, please go over and check out Friday's Crossfire that we had. It was an unbelievable show. It
was a lot of fun, yeah.
Cool Hand Cruz, right? Jay Barry, Crap, Xbot, Brap. The list goes on and on, but it's such a great group there. Do go over and check that out. But Crap, you know what? Go ahead and plug the channel. Let them know about next week and all the videos.
Crap Gamer reviews.
Out. There it is.
Yeah, Crap Gamer reviews. Yeah, we just, cover stuff when it comes out or not, whatever. It's all good.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. Check out Crap Gamer reviews and at @the_Crap Gamer on Twitter. Nova, plug the channel, buddy, because Insomniacs was great as well on Thursday night.
Thank you. Yes, you can follow me at youtube.com/NovaInsomniac all together. The Insomniacs podcast is taking a little break from YouTube. We are kind of going back to the drawing board a little bit and going to come back with a great show. And also keep your eyes, because this show, now that I got my beefy new computer, is going to be also having some changes. Going to make some quality of life improvements to the show. So yeah, just keep an eye out and watch the space.
Really appreciate that, Nova. Like I said, outstanding show today, guys. Thank you to everybody in the chat. Thank you for all the difference of opinion. That's a good thing. Difference of opinion is a good thing. Remember that, folks. And we will be back next Sunday, 11:45 a.m. Eastern time on the Crap Gamers channel. Please do go over there and check that out. Hit the subscribe button on the way out, guys. Hit the like button, and we'll see you guys next Sunday. Nova, take us out of here.
It's going to be great.
Great.